Our next guest is coming off a very impressive victory over Lyoto Machida. He is now regarded by most as the man to take on the winner of Weidman versus Belfort for the middleweight championship. He is a former Strikeforce middleweight champion himself, Luke Rockhold. Welcome back to Submission Radio, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh,
Thanks for the introduction. Feels good to be number one.
Well, there you go. That's two people in 2 weeks that have complimented our introduction. Tim Kennedy, of course, last week. It's great to have you back on. First off, we noticed that you were sitting cage side for UFC 186. How did you enjoy the event?
It was a pretty good show. Not bad at all. Demetrius came through with the 1 second last armbar, which is pretty amazing. I respect his style and what he brings to the table. The kid is just becoming quite the legend these days. So I think he definitely deserves his respect, and he's one of the best, pound for pound for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And since you have a bit of a history with this man, just wondering, what did you think of Michael Bisping's performance against CB Dollaway?
It wasn't bad. I mean, he went in there, did his thing, as Michael Bisping does. It was a tough fight between the two. I think, he potentially edged it out with that last takedown. The last 30 seconds, I think, dictated the whole fight, really. I mean, it was that close.
Absolutely. Now, your fight against Lyoto Machida, it was extremely impressive. You were very confident going the fight. Did you expect it to be as dominant as it basically was?
I knew it would if it touched the ground. I think I could have. I knew I could have dominated him there. I was surprised that we didn't engage so quickly. I thought there'd be a lot more of a feeling out process on the feet. He was pretty quick to engage with me, and that kind of threw me off. I think that was my biggest surprise. I thought there'd be more of a dance process and feeling out. I like to get my rhythm and then get going and then let my strikes going and let the power fly. He really jumped on me with a left hand, tried to come at me within the first 5 seconds or so after watching him a couple times. I thought it'd be hard. I thought I might need to outstrike him on the feet, like take my time and then hurt him and maybe get a takedown and then I could finish it. But sure enough, it went to the ground pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. After your win over Lyoto, I believe you were speaking to Ariel Helwani. You mentioned that you weren't too happy with your stand-up and that you were a bit nervous. Given how well you performed, I'm curious, why were you nervous?
I wouldn't say. It was Lyoto Machida. Lyoto's one of the best strikers ever, and I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I was thrown off. I was thrown off by how quickly he engaged with me. I'm not that guy who wants to go in there. If you see any of my recent fights, I like to really get my timing, find my range, and then let it go. I'm not going to feel comfortable with anybody out there if I'm engaging within the first 10 seconds. I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's not in my style these days. I want to understand my distance, find my timing, and then attack. I think that was just the thing that threw me off. I wouldn't say I was exactly nervous, but I was just thrown off, and I like to get my comfort zone, and then I can really do my thing and strike. I think I could have done well with Lyoto and potentially won there too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we thought it was because of that scar that you suffered while surfing on the back of your head that looked a little bit like a bald spot. Going against a guy with a contract with Head and Shoulders, how did that feel, not having your top hair game going into that fight?
A little nervous, I had to stay pretty. The gauntlet was set. It was the kid to come out looking better than him. He was making some hype on it. So I was already balding, so I was like one step behind. So I really had to make sure my A game was on. Couldn't take any more damage.
No, of course not. My girlfriend commented as well when we were watching. I'm like, shh, you don't say that about Luke. You just calm down over there. Now, going back to June of last year, Chris Weidman won a decision over Machida. Decision, of course. You did it in under 2 rounds. Do you think that says a lot about your chances against Chris Weidman?
I think I match up well with Weidman. I think that performance should show you that I'm very comfortable in the stand-up and in the ground. I think I wasn't, I was ready for any aspect of that fight, and I will be for Weidman. I said it before. I'll say it again. I believe I'm the best. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And you looked like the best in your fight a couple of weeks ago. Now, you and Chris Weidman are a really exciting wet matchup. And I guess people are talking about that matchup because he's the champ. And a lot of people believe he may beat Vitor Belfort and retain his championship. You're both very good wrestlers. You have excellent grappling. You both have very great striking. What would you say that you do better than Weidman? And what would you say your advantages would be if you got the matchup with him?
I'd say that I'm going to impose my will on the feet. I'm to have more weapons on the feet. You can't out wrestle me. Weidman's biggest strength is his wrestling and his pressure, and I'm not a guy that you can just come in there and pressure and out wrestle and dominate. Not at this size, not at middleweight, not anywhere really that much. And you gotta. I'm in there training with DC and Kane, and so I'm used to big wrestlers that try to bully me and I know that's his avenue. And obviously, I feel comfortable on the ground. I think my grappling is second to none, and I believe I'm the better striker in that matchup. So it's just controlling, so hitting them on the feet and making them pay for trying to wrestle me. So that's the fight. Weidman's a champion. He's a tough guy. I respect him in so many ways. He's got power. He's got wrestling. But I'm more than prepared to take that title.
Sure. Now, when we spoke to you in Sydney last year, around the time of your fight with Michael Bisping, you seemed pretty open to who you'd fight next, including Jacare. Now that you've scored such a big win and caught out the champ, how disappointed would you be if the UFC offered you Jacare instead of a title shot?
I mean, it would. I would make the most of whatever situation presented itself. If we're Jacare, I wouldn't mind finishing that business we already had. I don't think it would. I don't think it'd be the same as last time. I've grown a lot. I was a young kid, and I was very unsure of myself at that time. And this is a different time and a different me. So, I believe I'm the number one contender. I think my performances speak for themselves. I think I went out there and did something to Lyoto that not a lot of people, many people or anybody has done before. So quality of opponents and fashion on finishing fights, I think is I think it's worthy. But we'll see how it plays out. I think I feel good about it.
Yeah, well, we feel very good about it too, look, and everybody's excited to see what happens. Just wondering, obviously you and Vitor had a fight and you had a loss against him. In a perfect scenario, who would you rather face for the title? Would you rather fight Chris Weidman? It's a fight everybody wants to see. Everybody would be excited about it. Or would you rather fight Vitor Belfort? It would be an opportunity to avenge a loss that I'm sure that you'd like to take. Which one would you prefer in a perfect scenario for the title?
Really? I win either way. Either way, I think it's a beautiful matchup for me on both ends. It's a big sell. You got Weidman, you got East Coast, West Coast. You got the All-American battle, and you got the true champ. I mean, the guy who went out there and dominated. This would be his third Brazilian, legend in a row. So he would undeniably be the best out there at middleweight in some time. And Vitor, and then you got bad blood. Then you got that a genuine rivalry, and you got me coming for revenge. I love it either way. I'm looking to go out there and prove myself as the best fighter in the world. I think either way I accomplish that. Weidman goes out there, beats Vitor, makes it look easy. I think we all know that story. I come out there and beat Weidman on top of that. That proves that I'm the best one. I'm the better man. I got caught by a lucky kick. I go out there and get that revenge against Vitor. It'd be nothing sweeter. Nothing sweeter. So I'm happy. Either way, it's a beautiful situation for me. I think Weidman's the better fighter. I think he wins. And truthfully, that's what I like the guy. I prefer him to win.
Sure. Now, obviously, Chris Weidman and Vitor Belfort, they will be fighting at UFC 187 for the title, but you did make the point of calling out Weidman, though. Is it safe to say you're picking him over Vitor, and do you think you're looking past Vitor as a challenger to Weidman?
Exactly. I mean, that's what I see. That's what I see winning, and that's what's up. Vitor's a joke. I'll say it and I'll say it again. The guy hasn't fought clean once in his whole life. I think his whole career is a joke. So, but I'd be more than willing to go out there and to finish that one. So that's my opinion on it. I think Weidman's going to win. Pretty confident in that.
Yeah, no, certainly right. And obviously Vitor has had so many controversies with this TRT. A lot of fighters in the middleweight division don't feel very good about him in that regard. I mean, the big question is, how do you think Vitor will perform now that he's off TRT? Many people have automatically assumed that he will be a completely different fighter and not at the level that he used to be. What do you think? Do you think the Vitor that comes back will be a shadow of his former self, possibly?
Who knows? Who knows what Vitor you're going to see? I don't think you've ever seen a clean Vitor, so who knows what to say? You know, when we're going to see potentially a clean Vitor. So that's a tough one to see because I don't think anyone's ever seen it.
Now let's move on from that fight. We spoke to Tim Kennedy last week and he mentioned how when Strikeforce was being absorbed into the UFC, nobody gave you guys a chance against the UFC's fighters. And now the top fighters at middleweight are almost all Strikeforce guys. You've got you, Jacare, Yoel Romero, and Tim Kennedy. How does that make you feel? And do you feel like you proved a lot of doubters wrong?
It feels good to be on top and to shut off all the people that just believe in the UFC. So I knew where we all belonged, talent-wise, way before I entered the UFC, and I analyzed the fighters and talent and ability, and I knew that all of us are right where we deserve to be. I'm just one step away.
Yeah, certainly. Now, for all the listeners around the world in Australia listening that may not know, you do train out of AKA, which is a phenomenal camp with guys like Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez. Take us into one of those training sessions. What's it like training over at AK? And do you attribute a lot of your success to working hard and sparring hard with those guys?
Training at AK is awesome. I think that we have more of a family atmosphere than most of the gyms. We were all homegrown talent. I mean, we all were obviously talented before we came, but Cain started his whole MMA career with us. BC started his from the beginning in MMA. Both good wrestlers. I came from wrestling, jiu-jitsu background, but I started everything there. And I mean, so many of our guys are built from the ground up, and we push each other and help each other in so many ways. We don't just let random people in our gym. There's a voting process, and we go through. It's pretty strict these days on who we just let into the real team. I mean, we have visitors all the time, but we're out there all to help each other. Khabib has been with us most of his whole career, and built him to being the true champion that he's about to become. It's so many guys, Josh Thompson and the whole Ultimate Fighter cast before, Mike Swick and everyone's from the ground up. So I mean, it's fun. We go to war at times like all brothers do, but we always look out for each other. We're not looking for the kill, and in the end we embrace each other and help each other. So it's family.
Yeah, for sure. And like you mentioned, there's so many good fighters coming out of there. Recently with all the injuries, Dana White, he mentioned that AK is stuck in the Stone Ages in regards to hard sparring. I'm just wondering, what did you think of those comments? Is there any truth to what he said? And do you guys by any chance go too hard? Or do you think that's what you got to do to become such a good camp?
I think there's a reason why we're the best camp in the world. And we push each other. Just like we need to push each other. I don't really have many comments for that. We fight. I mean, we're the guys on top. We're the best gym, and so who knows how to train better than us? So that's my opinion.
Certainly, Luke. Now, we let the fans know that you were coming on the program, so we chose a couple of fan questions to quickly ask you before we wrap up the interview. The first question comes from a username, Colonel Mustard. He wants to know, having beaten the former light heavyweight champion so handily, what do you think that says about your chances of hypothetically fighting at light heavyweight?
I wouldn't shut the door, but I got a lot to accomplish here at middleweight. But it's definitely it's an open door for me, no doubt. I plan on dominating this division for some years to come. But that is an open. That is definitely there for the taking for me. I got family. I got a friend right at the top up there, so I ain't going anywhere until he does what is his thing, and maybe I can think about it in the future.
Absolutely. Now, Luke, we're going to do what we did last time with you when you were on the show called the Submission Radio Tap Out Round. We fire off a bunch of fun questions at you, and you answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Oh, actually, sorry. We've actually got one more fan question. It's from Ron Burgundy's Mustache. He is asking... Sorry, I'm just pulling it up.
Ron's mustache?
Ron Burgundy's Mustache. That's right. That's who's asking the question.
Oh, Ron Burgundy. Okay. I thought you said Ronda's mustache.
No. Ronda doesn't have any mustaches. Just Ron Burgundy. And Don Fry. His question is, Luke, big fan, you were on the show Millionaire Matchmaker. What was Patty like? How scripted was the show? And did you really ask that girl if she swallows?
It was an experience, no doubt. I just tried to have fun with everything I do in life, and I was just trying to make good TV. Patty's all right until the camera's on, and then she turns it on, no doubt.
Yeah.
It was a joke backstage, and if you watch it, you can see how they dubbed my voice over the last scene. So I definitely did not ask her. Or I do not ask girls on first dates if they spit or swallow. It's not exactly my way of moving forward. I mean, it sounds like a pretty important question to know to move forward in a relationship, but
of course,
it's not the first thing I ask.
Well, there you go. I'm going to take that out of my repertoire now, Luke. Thanks for that. Now, okay, let's get into this tap out round. So we're going to throw some fun questions at you, and you answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Here we go. Now, as an Adidas ambassador, give us your favorite Run DMC song.
As an Adidas ambassador, my favorite Run DMC song.
These are the tough questions, Luke.
These are the tough questions. They're throwing me off right off the bat. My Adidas.
My Adidas, there you go. We're like the Lyoto Machida of tough questions, throwing everybody off. Here's an easy one, Luke. Blondes, brunettes, or redheads?
Brunettes. Redheads are kind of spicy, though.
Now, Luke, take us into the moment. What was it like having that 3x3 monster burger from In-N-Out after having to be on a diet for your fight with Lyoto Machida?
It's like pure heaven.
Luke, you said you were going to enjoy Australia after your win over Bisping. Did you stay a while? What was your most interesting experience in Oz?
I ended up staying a while. It was good times. I went for a surf. We were going to go for a surf. My buddy Paul Fisher and actually Joel Parkinson came pick me up. We were going to go surf, and then we ended up in Aruba. Too stormy, so we went to the bar and all the bra boys proceeded to fucking fill in one by one, and we had quite the day with a couple beers at the bar. So that was pretty interesting all there.
Oh yeah, welcome to Australia.
We ended up going out at night, and hockey actually came out, and a bunch of guys with a Billabong team. So it was an all day affair, no doubt. It was fun.
I hope it lived up to that Simpsons episode where Bart owned that huge phone bill for calling Australia. Now, this is a developing story, Lou. Give us your reaction to when you heard about this whole John Jones hit and run incident that just transpired yesterday.
Wow, it's just unbelievable. I'm completely blown away by his actions and what he's done, and I just it's hard to really fathom what that whole situation. It's just piece by piece, it just keeps getting worse and worse, and I just don't understand. The guy's got the world at his fingertips, and we just completely, I don't know what's going through the kid's head.
Yeah, it's a big shame. One of the last questions.
Yeah, and obviously I feel for the girl. It sounds like he's done for quite some time.
One of the last questions.
Maybe he gets away with it. I don't know. I'd be surprised in days.
We'll see. Could be a one-day jail stint. Now, Bob Sapp once told us about a time a naked lady jumped on the windscreen of his taxi in Japan. We would say you're Slightly better looking than Bob Sapp. Have you had any crazy experiences or interactions with female fans?
I've it's hard for me to think about that, but I've heard so many Bob Sapp stories in Japan. That's all I can think about now.
I feel like
Japan takes the cake. Japan, if I was, a big juiced up freaking beast in Japan, I don't know, they like their freak shows in Japan.
Yeah.
So many stories. That doesn't surprise me. I can't really think of anything off the top right now that I really want to drop.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to come out. This is going to come out in the Luke Rockhold documentary or autobiography one day. I think you're saving him from us. Now, we asked this from Rafael Dos Anjos when he was on the show last week, but obviously, as you know, there's a huge card planned for Melbourne in November, UFC 193. Any chance that you'd have any interest in, if you get a title shot, possibly having it here in Australia again? You've got a nice following down here.
I've heard about that card. I've heard it's quite the venue they're looking at there. So it's an open door. I like Australia, and I would not mind it. I do like the sound of Madison Square Garden. With me and Wyman going to California, New York, Biggie, Tupac, East Coast, West Coast. But I do like the sound of, 60,000 people?
Oh, yeah, 56, about 56,000, 57.
I like trying to make history, and getting into arena that size sounds like another landmark, no doubt. I'd be definitely into venturing.
Absolutely. Well, given that there may be even 2 title fights, we'd love to have you here for, a main event or even co-main event, depending on what's happening. Now, Luke, the last question. Finally, give us the official prediction. If you do get Weidman next, how do you see yourself beating him? And also, between you and Jacare, why is it that you deserve the next title shot?
Fighting Weidman, I believe I can outstrike him on the feet, and then I can make him pay, like I said earlier, for takedowns. I think I stopped a lot of the takedowns, and this ends up being more stand-up battle, and I end up winning this thing on the feet. Jacare, I'm a better fighter than Jacare. I'm more dynamic on the feet. I'm a better wrestler, and I believe my MMA grappling is above his. And he's a great jiu-jitsu guy in his background. Everyone recognizes that, but my MMA grappling is better. I'm just a better fighter, and you'll soon find out.
Well, there you go.
It'll all play out until it's built. So whether it's now or later, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna find my way to the top.
Well, there you go, guys. Luke Rockhold on his way to becoming the next UFC champion. Don't forget us when you're one of the most successful champions in the history of the UFC, Luke. Remember us from Sydney. Guys, you can follow Luke Rockhold on Twitter at Luke Rockhold. Very excited to see what plays out next, Luke. Thank you for taking some time and being on Submission Radio.
Thanks for having me. Always, definitely. Good to be here, and hopefully I can make it back to Melbourne one of these days.